to here. Because now we get to make one. That's right. This was, Kekat, I believe you were the one who, sort of originally suggested this, and this rules. So, let's talk through it. Met dogs, met cats. So, I've got a bunch of slides here. You know, this is not going to end up polished. But I've got a bunch of slides here that let us talk through what things might happen. What are we trying to do? What's the goal? And, how are we going to do it? So, my opinion on the summary of the project. Subconscious decided to insert cats into any and all marketing material did bring this up. Exactly. It's great. Right? So basically, leverage social media accounts and tools to run a contest between the cats and dogs of the Mets collection material, using both digital, using I guess over a 6-month period, run a contest to determine whether cats or whether hashtag #MetCats or hashtag #MetDogs are cuter, and develop a plushie question mark of one of the winners. Leverage social media accounts and tools with supplemented by in-person programming. Does that seem like a thing? Does that seem like a thing? Specifically, develop, yeah, merchandise related to the winning side. Right? Merchandise. Do you vote for Met Owls? Actually, though, the fact that we know that there is an Instagram account that is Met Owls is shockingly useful for this. Unironically. Right? Rationale for project. Successful social media accounts. Let's actually figure out exactly how successful means. Where'd it go? Owls at the Met. 3.4k followers. So, 3.4k followers, 200 likes per post. Followers per post. But yeah, right, about 10%. No. No. Owls at the Met has way less than 10% of that. Has a smidge under 0.1% of that? A smidge under 0.1% of that. Feature animal materials in Met collections. There is a 0.1. It's just it's a 0.1%, not a 0.1 decimal. It's a lot of zeros to wrangle. Exactly. It took me a while to count that many zeros. I respect it. Does this seem like a reasonable summary of this? Of like what we're trying to do? Or I should say reasonable. Do people like this as a summary? Does this seem like a fun thing? Does this seem like a cool thing? A thing that would be fun to develop? Yeah, amazing. Let's rock and roll then. So, our rationale for the project is that we've seen it already is successful. Posts from peer or from other, not really peer institutions, because there isn't a peer institution to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's ginormous. But other cultural heritage institutions that feature animals regularly go viral. Met has lots of public domain images that can enable this project. Additionally, right, social media polls and drama tend to we'll call drama, lol, points at the absolute unit. That is 100%. Hang on. My boy. My favorite child. But yeah, right? And drama, drive user, right? Drive engagement and algorithmic promotion for on social media. Actually, let me find Sue versus Shed Aquarium. Let's see. That is it gets coverage. Literally, it gets coverage. When Shed Aquarium answer fans' questions on Facebook Live, Sue, famous for their cheeky Twitter personality, couldn't resist poking fun at the aquarium, tweeting back, yes, I have a question. People like the shark, why do you think it would still lose in a fight with a T-Rex? And then, you know, I killed, my browser extensions have killed all of these widgets. That's fine. Right, they end up, actually, let's allow on this site real quick. Because I'm curious. Actually, I should ask, is Sue the T-Rex actually, like, run by official accounts or a fan account? It is official accounts. I love that for us. I love that for us. Field Museum, because it is an actual blog that the Field Museum runs, and is good. Yeah. So yeah, that is though it hides it, it is an official account, and that is good. Sue versus Shed Aquarium 2018. But right, basically, right, the idea being that these, well, let's put it this way. 81,000 followers versus the Met's 4.3 million followers, and they are getting comparable view counts and comparable like counts. In fact, often superior like counts to Met institutional Twitter accounts. Now, Twitter accounts aren't all that impactful, but They are getting really comparable. The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation is another great one, right? Really avoiding the silence brand on the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. Right? Okay, Department of Actually, let's... The Merle. Okay, Department of Wildlife Conservation. Field Museum. Right? Right. Let's hit all of these. Ta-da! So we know that there's a lot of comparable sorts of things. All of this helps give us justification for why this project. But now, also, why this project? Like this is all good, this is all pure stuff. But why this? Right? What are we hoping to... Well, we'll actually talk about that, I guess, in a little bit. That's our... the next one is our objectives. With all this comparable material, right, we feel... I guess the last thing, the last piece of the puzzle here, actually is going to... come on, where's my collection search? Met collection. There we go. Search the collection. Description. Cat. Um, 1353. Collection hits with description field, including cat. Same vibe, but for dog. $16.86 with dog. Something like Met Cats versus Met Dogs will also drive a feud among users. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, safe, popular, family friendly, and yeah, right, drive engagement and algorithmic promotion, right? If people are voting, and that there's voting elements associated with this drives algorithmic engagement with the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and so can have sort of more medium-term benefits to other things the museum is trying to do. So we've got a good body of collection materials with actually a really wide variety of like time periods, departments, tools, right? Like we've got, okay, I don't know why this one's in here, but like we have something from the 19th century there. Okay, these aren't all perfect examples, but we've got another late American artist wife and his setter. We've got a dog in the siesta. We've got a Roman denarius with a dog. Actually, it doesn't look like it does. We've got a mechanical dog from 1390 BC. So there's some things here where I'm not really sure why they got picked up in the search. I'm going to be real. But we've got lots of things here, right? Sappho painter from the 5th century BC with a dog. We've got a Raiden from the 4th century BC. Yeah. Dog cup, right? Medieval tapestries with dogs. Some of the unicorn tapestries. We've got Netherlandish stuff with dogs. We've got Persian stuff with dogs. We've got advertising material with dogs. We've got, like, rondels with dogs. We've got political cartoons with dogs. We've got mummified dogs. We've got dogs with dogs and more dogs. We've got photographs of dogs. So there's a huge, right, really leverages all the different fields that the MetaTask collection collects. Collections display a wide variety of collection of departments and artistic categories. So we've got a lot of peer institutions or other examples of successful things that we can build off of. We have lots of public domain images that can really help drive this and encourage people without having to worry about copyright. We've got good arguments to say that it drives engagement and is going to really encourage participation, which is going to boost visibility and therefore complete goals of accessibility. And we've got good reasons to think that these particular topics and this sort of conflict might feel a little bit contrived, but also is going to be generally very popular. So what specifically are we trying to do? Right. Let's see. Attract new audiences? I assume so, yeah. Right? Encourage in-person visits? Or I guess attract new audiences is a bit weird here, right? It's unclear the extent to which I think that's the most important thing. I think it's actually very much not. Encourage in-person visits, definitely important for us. Highlight unusual ways to experience art. Unusual equals not how art museums usually. Right? Like, that's not how an art historian is going to interpret a piece of art. I guess a question is, do we want to kind of get people onto app ecosystems? Right, obviously we want to get people into the physical building because physical building equals operating revenue. Sure. Draw users to collection areas. Right. What's the thought, right? Yes, no for really getting people into like app ecosystems. Increase engagements, I guess increase engagement and visibility of museum social media accounts, especially non-primary accounts. Encourage user posts about the Met makes people hit people outside of immediate social circle or immediate follower circle. See posts. Right? Something like that. I'll leave draw people to app / newsletter ecosystems ? That seems to be something that that you all listening don't seem to be super big on, so we'll leave that fairly small and with a question mark on it. I think the Met would love this, and there's ways we can design that in to encourage that. But not super clear. Anyway, what resources do we actually have? Social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, departmental, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Collection search. Never mind, the truck throwing a platform of Christmas carolers. Fantastic. We love to see it. Collection search. In-person programming. Signage. Tours. Ecosystem. Geolocation tracking, audio tours, etc. Right, that pretty much sums up our resources. We don't have a lot. Very bright and very loud and quite dubiously legal, but wish them good luck. Exactly. Let people, as long as they're being safe about it, they're not putting themselves or others at risk. I say, in this particular case, let them have fun. It Christmas. I'm very much in favor of let people have fun around Christmas because it's been a hard year. Let people have a treat. As long as it's not making other people uncomfortable, unsafe, or being utterly obnoxious. Anyway, so this is where we're at. This sums up a lot of our resources. Yeah, the fact that they have sirens, was it like an escort? Or was it, whatever. So this tells us, this basically sums up just kind of what resources we have, right, as far as I can think of it. Am I missing anything? Maybe? No? Could do an ARG. Potentially. I think that goes more in the next section. I don't know how... I don't fully think I know how, like, ARG would fit into the resources here, but, like, pitch me the idea. Pitch me the idea here. So, in the meantime, potentially, yeah. Again, same thing. Pitch me out the idea here of like what are we thinking with life? Let's brainstorm some things that we can do here with like on the social media. Right, there's the obvious ones. Daily slash bi-daily slash whatever. Using highlighting collection material and using relevant hashtags, press releases from main account, talking about these, press releases from main account reminding people to use medcats and med dogs, accounts interacting and arguing with each other, right? This is a core part for kind of getting the stage set, getting the ball rolling, right? The accounts have to actually talk, like interact with each other, and make that a fight. Stir up the drama. Be like, no, your account's good, but my dog's better. Look at that boy. Not every post is going to be arguing. Sometimes it's just, met cats, met dogs. Love it. And that the main account is saying, hey, we're deciding who's better, met cats or met dogs. So, make sure you check it out. Stream museum events like talks and concerts. Virtual guided tours, okay, like, for social media broadly, that's awesome. Love it. I think you should do more with that. More with live stream stuff. More with, like... Facebook Live often gets used for this. But... absolutely. This version yellow for you saying you like to have a cats, give me a museum tour, and let me pet the cats in the art. Absolutely. Let's hit that. Right. Physical tours and signage. Pet the animals in the art. Use it. Is there a... face petting. Oh no. We're gonna delete that before anyone sees. That probably is not the analog I want to draw. Right. Weird JP face petting ARG. No, we're not going there. Nope. Fully stop. Can we use ARG tools pioneered by Roblox collab /Chroma to help? We're gonna leave that as a question. We're trying to pitch this to executives who have never played a JP game in their life. But right, that's definitely a physical thing. I guess let's roll that into a big thing. Social media. Contests? I mean, also pulling from weird gacha games. Choose your legend contests? What's the vibe on that? Firstly, I suppose I should ask, do people know what I mean when I say a choose your legend format? Yes, sadly. Jakista, you and I, we're in here. Let me find a good Twitter example. Okay, basically, it's a bracket competition. Alright, so let's swap that out, because that's not going to be useful. Where we're going to pitch, I don't know, let's say it's an 8v8. We've got 8 collection highlight cats, and we've got 8 collection highlight dogs. And we're going to put them into groups of 4, right? 2 cats, 2 dogs in each group. And we're going to vote. And top 2 are going to move up to the next round. And we're going to go, each of the 4 brackets turns into 2 brackets, turns into 1 final bracket, top 1 wins. 4v4s. Right, we can also do it as just a full head-to-head. What is the best Met cat? What is the best Met dog? Right. Heck. there's been some Twitter campaigns that do fairly well. That's like, I don't know, like a Saints World Cup or something. I can't remember what its exact name is, but right where you do like daily polls as with different Saints, different characters or Saints or whoever going head to head to find the best one. You could do something like that too. But yes, it is some sort of like playoff bracket. The difference between it and a playoff bracket is, of course, how do you format that? Could just run polls. Could track engagement on each of the relevant, on each contender. Could have an app. Right, there's pros and cons to all of these. Running polls is the most straightforward one, but most things kind of struggle with running polls with images at the same time. And then that would require threading, that would get more complicated. Tracking engagement introduces a bunch of nasty variables that we don't necessarily want. And an app requires people clicking off platform, which is great when we, have different, given that we're working across multiple platforms. But it introduces yet another platform into the mix, and that's any of the above could be valuable. But yeah, what's the feeling on this? Right, we don't have to do this. There are other ways you can do that. But what would be the feeling on trying to find the best animal in the mech collection? So. Don't do all the above. Don't do. Of course, yeah, absolutely, right. This would be formalized part of the competition between cats and dogs, 100%. And you could have you could make accounts for the contenders and have the contenders kind of talk to each other, tell people about themselves, run literally campaigns. Social media maybe doesn't like that so much, but I think you could make that work. The trick is, right, you have to decide, right? Somehow you have to determine how do people decide what is the best one. Right, sure, there may be a competition where everyone's like, yeah, let's go get our best ones. We're running a big tournament bracket to decide what's the best pet in the collection. Dark Horse candidate parakeets. But somehow users have to actually decide as we proceed through the competition. If we're doing this very, like, live show thing, big tournament bracket, you need some way for users to vote. And that can be just run polls on all the relevant sites and just call it a day. You could try and then campaign for them using the different hashtags. And you could just say, hey, we've got an app. Go get on the app. Go do the thing. Go vote there. I think this is probably not ideal. Right. I think the feeling is probably you do polls. Right. Website polls. Twitter, Instagram, website. Right. Don't do a Google form. No, if this takes off, you're dealing with suddenly 100 million Google form submissions. Don't do that. Don't make this hard on yourself. I think you just collate, you just run polls on each of these and you just collate the total number of votes. I think that's almost certainly the easiest way. But still, right, the idea at the end is you have the best one, and then you make a plushie of it and you sell it in the store. Right? I mean, you want merch. Commemorative merch, the winner gets a plushie. Or plushie slash replica slash something. Right. Like, you maybe don't want a plushie if, I don't know. Where is it? I mean, that's a great plushie right there. Right, if this is your winner, if for some reason this is Veto the Best Boy, you maybe don't want a plushie of that, but man, I would kill for a replica. That's awesome looking, right? It rules. Of contestants. Use Metcats and Met Dogs to. So it sounds like, right? What's the feeling? Do we think overall like this contest thing is kind of like the centerpiece, or is that something you feel like should be like ancillary, kind of like one of the options? If they're trying to use hashtags, we don't necessarily want to, also have accounts with the same names as the hashtags. The goal is to get people to engage with the collections. I think it should be ancillary. Like, you could have this be the centerpiece, and then you run other collection highlights under various accounts with the same hashtag. So you're simultaneously campaigning, but you also have other collection items. And you could have it in phases, right? Alright, so, right, project duration, 6 months. Months 1 through 2, users, find their favorites in the collection, post them using the relevant hashtags. Curators will pick their favorites. Months 3 through 6. Having seeking out the piece like a scavenger hunt will be better for in-person engagement? Yeah, well, we've got, look, physical aspects of the project. We can get there. Right? Post them using the relevant hashtags. Curious, giant. We may want to actually trim this down to 4 months. We'll see. Tournament arc. Every week there's a bracket of 4. 2 cats, 2 dogs. Nah, if we're doing a poll, it may have to be a head-to-head. I guess the question would be, right? Question. should it be I need to not do it like that. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 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 boom. Shut up, I'm bad at drawing. Don't worry about it. 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Cat. 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 Etc. Alright. Should it be like this? So that you end up with like a cat and dog going in the ultimate head-to-head? Or should it instead be like, I don't know, cat, cat, dog, dog? Does this make sense? Right, so if it's a 4v4, you've got 2 cats, 2 dogs, top 2 move on? Or is it all cats on one side, all dogs on the other side, going for the ultimate head-to-head? I suspect it should be the first one. I suspect it should be the first one. Could there be other activities besides voting in the poll that could impact the result, like doing an art project or posting it using the hashtag account for multiple votes? I don't think so. Circle notes, Gramp time. Exactly. Really, a word that just chokes in your mouth. Gramp. Every week. There's a... Could there be other activities besides voting that impact the results? I think you want to encourage all of that, but doing it like it's one of those things where you want the accounts to be actively like seeking out, locating and promoting that stuff. Like you want people monitoring that, and actually trying to highlight that stuff. I don't know if it follows that that should affect the voting. Because then that just makes it more opaque as to who win. Right? And the more like weird factors that there are, right? The more things that can obscure and change the vote, the more likely you can get accused of, like, you know, rigging it. Alright, you absolutely want, if someone's making a head-to-head fight, you want a whole bunch of accounts from the Met to be like, yeah, we love that. Right, that's awesome. Amazing. I love the fan art. If folks are posting, using those hashtags, let's like those images. Let's be like, yeah, you are here physically in person, you're engaging with this, that's super cool. Right, you want that presence and that support, kind of supporting the collection highlights, supporting the competition drama, but I don't know that the actual poll... Actually, let's do months 1 through 3 here, and then months 4 through 6, there's a head-to-head, cats, bracket, and a dogs, bracket. Culminates in best cat versus best dog. Like, this is also like how IGN does, like, greatest game of all time. Just, like, pair things off, do a weird tournament bracket. Best one wins. So, social media. Right. Contest, well, that's now its own thing. We don't take IGN reviews seriously anymore? Of course we don't. That's not the point. The point is there was a user voting thing on what's the greatest game of all time, and it was super scuffed. Anyway, website page. Additionally, social media accounts highlight materials, highlight various collection materials, repost / support / comment, comment on other on user creations and art. Right, it's only for the social media side of things. Right, my opinion is that this should probably be the centerpiece because this results in the merchandise deliverable. Right, when I think about it, like, what is the deliverable that we are monetizing on the end of this? This is what produces that. Right? That's this contest. In terms of other things that are happening on social media, though, right, you have curator, different departmental accounts should be arguing with each other, being creative within the scope of the project, seeking out fan user engagement, seeking out user posts that use the hashtag, responding to them, being like, hell yeah, right? Like, the kids' education thing should probably be like, oh yeah, like, here's a kid in front of the thing, look at how cool. The students had a great time? Well, we're delighted. Hope you decided, you know, so-and-so is the best cat. Or, I wholeheartedly agree, that cat absolutely rules. And, from that process of engagement, in the first 3 months, you're kind of gearing up for the tournament arc. You're making the selections. You do a big spree at the end of month 3 that says, hey, here are our contestants in our cats versus dogs head-to-head. And every week, you're running a bracket that runs 4 a week on all social media things as a pinned tweet at the top of everyone's accounts, reminding people about it, really trying to push campaign for these different things. Tally up the votes at the end. Here's your winner, here's the next bracket. Right, so this is like a, Monday through Friday you do this, Saturday you tally up the votes, Sunday you announce the next bracket, Monday through Friday you're voting. Straight through, for the 3 months, you got your cat bracket, your dog bracket, they go head to head, we have a great time. Now what can we do physically? Because as we thought about our goals, encourage in-person visits. Right, the unusual ways, right, not how art museums usually do, I think is done already on the social media side of things. Because social media doesn't, like, even though we're doing, in some ways, very traditional stuff, the fact that we're emphasizing pets to this extent, not quite how that works. The social media accounts can also really drive users to look at and see different collection stuff. But how do we do this? Well, one way, right? Like, maybe you can structure it as a scavenger hunt. You can also just say, come visit us and tell us what your favorite things were. And it has a chance to get featured in the contest. Right, I don't think you need to go... You certainly can in the physical stuff, right? Scavenger hunt. So I guess, yeah, physical tours and signage, scavenger hunt. Like, you don't want to put a hunt sheet at visitor center. Right there? Right there. What about in-person voting? I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. At the same period as there's physical ones? No, right. It's in the same location as the physical ones. But, like, on your splash screen that's telling you about some of the stuff, you can have one of the slides be, hey, current MetCat head-to-head. Vote now. And MetDog head-to-head. Vote now. And you have a stack of, like, teeny tiny slips that are ballots. and you have literally 2 boxes to go vote for it. You make a vote. You have to then count the votes, which could get annoying. Right. Come on. You have to count the votes. Can an iPad help with this? You might just have like a tablet that's like, hey, here's your vote. Cast your vote for the current MedCat and MedDog ballot here. Tap tap, it's been recorded, thank you. Tap tap, it's been recorded, thank you. Tap tap, it's been recorded, thank you. That would mitigate the you have to count the votes. But yeah. QR. We could also have placards highlighting contestants that are on view. Social media accounts should generally prioritize on view collection items. Omar, welcome. Yes, I do. I have graduate degrees in history and cultural heritage studies. So we talk about history here. We play games, but we talk about history through games. And right now we're actually talking about museum stuff because we're creating a fake social media campaign around the objectively true sentence that this is a fantastic dog. So we're trying to talk about social media, how museums use social media, how museums might use social media better, and creating a glorious tournament arc to decide whether cats or dogs are the superior collections at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You found a cat cup too? Give it to me. Give me that collection link. Stat. I need it. I need it in my life. Wow, fantastic. Oh, yeah. Throw some ideas. Feel free. This is very collaborative. So if you have ideas while you're hanging out, throw them in. This is very, very speculative, very loosey-goosey. We're just trying to have a good time here and kind of think through some of the thought process of what you have to do when you have 4 million followers on social media, and how might you drive engagement in ways that are productive and make sense. Fuck yeah. That's badass. Look at him. He's not as petable as this one. I'm not gonna lie. Not as petable. This is the more petable animal. But that's badass. Amazing. So right, I think this is an understated thing in what we've talked about so far, by the way, though. Right. Well, you know, these are all awesome. Since this is not an exhibition, this is not operating on exhibition time periods. Hey! You're from Egypt, amazing. Well, guess what? Since we're talking about a museum in New York, it has some real good Egyptian cats too. I mean, you know the way. These are dogs. These are dogs, not cats, but they got some good dogs too. Let's see what our Egyptian, yeah, dog from Egypt. Hell yeah. And it's on view at the Met 5th Gallery. Or the Met 5th Avenue. From the reign of Amenhotep III, the 18th dynasty. It's a dog doing a big stretch. Also, another one. Replica. If this guy wins, You haven't literally make this your seasonal nutcracker. Do a replica nutcracker that is the dog going ah, 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 ah. Hell yeah. Take my money. True. A cosmetic dish in the shape of a dog. He's got little crossbows. Again, 18th dynasty. Man, for being filthy oddinists, they make some good doggos. He's got little crossbows. I love him. This is why this is a good idea. But yeah, I think, anyway, enough getting distracted though. I will say this one is also on view. On view at the Met 5th Avenue. You can go see him. Pet him. You can't pet him. We want to pet him. But if we're prioritizing on view collection items, well, you can say that, right? In all of your posts being like, oh yeah, look at how cool this guy is. Look at how good this dog is. You can be like, you can come in and you can see it. Right now, today. Super easy. Coloring sheets of contestants? Yeah. Yeah, you sure could. Da. We are... I should say, we are, Should we address the not able to afford the ticket prices for the Met? Well, that's... Here's the thing. Within the fiction of the proposal, no, we shouldn't. It's a chance to sell memberships. Or it's a chance to sell student tickets. It's a chance to have some pretty significant operating revenue from it. You compare this with, usual discount hotel coupons. But for the most part, right, part of driving people to the museum is because they're gonna pay admission money. Outside of that, yeah, the Met's $30 a person. It's really expensive. And that's part of why we're using social media here, so that people can see the collection items and can participate in the contests, even if they are not able to physically go there. That being said, so obviously, on an outside perspective, ethics thing, absolutely we acknowledge that. Within the fiction of this, we are not proposing discounts to the admission, because it is a feature, and not a bug, that you are getting people to pay $30 a person to go scavenger hunt all the pets. And does that feel a little bit weird? Yep. But that's the point of programming. So you're kind of... we gotta just roll with it. Right? What's the vibe on this? This is technical. This is a lot of budget. Right? Chat, what's the general opinion on this? Because petting the animals, using some sort of ARG app, like what they did for the Chroma exhibit, or with the Roblox collab that everyone made fun of. It's theoretically doable, though you do have to pick. You'd have to pick a handful of things. You'd use geolocation data to identify that a visitor is physically standing there. You could then generate a replica of the thing, and then you can, it will, wag its tail at you, or meow, or do something else, and you can tap your screen to quote-unquote pet it. Technically, it's very doable. Technically, it's very expensive. Right now, label creation, the sort of signage creation, and printing out the paper are the most cost-intensive things of this entire program. And they're not that cost-intensive. This is quadrupling our budget. Yeah, I'm right. If it's something we think is important, it's something we can put in the proposal. Just as a heads up, it ends up being a budget item. And if we were actually trying to pitch this, that's something you have to spend a lot of... You'd really want to make sure you have a good handle as to what your estimated budget for that is. But yeah, if it's a thing people think is important, that can absolutely be done. And, the pro of this, con, expensive, takes time to develop, expensive, takes time to develop, need to limit, or need to decide early what objects get the pet. Pro. Uses existing tech infrastructure, drives users to apps. You can drive people to the relevant metropolitan app, and they have to sign up, and if they have to sign up for it, well, now you have their email address. Does that sound a little bit scummy, Trent? Does it sound a little bit scummy to say, hey, you have to, sign up for the app, now we have your phone number and email address? You wanted to pet the dog, and instead you signed up to get emails from us for the rest of eternity. Oh, it's absolutely something a museum would do. Yeah, KJ, I know we would lose you immediately. But I don't think I need the app in order to persuade you to go to a museum either. Right? That's the catch-22 on that. Of that, yes, we would lose you in particular, but you're also the target audience for 80% of the rest of the museum programming, so we don't... As far as attracting a new audience and getting you to, show up to the museum, you're someone who already would. So it's, except... If I was designing this, you're not my target audience. I think... if this was an actual pitch, I'd be yeah, we don't need people who are already member. We need to just not actively alienate the people who are already likely to sign up for memberships and physically go to the museum. As long as we don't actively make them have a bad time. Roblox. That's acceptable. Really, we're aiming for millennials and Gen Z with this. and young millennials and Gen Z with this. Yeah, exactly. So, right, this takes advantage of other meta initiatives that use similar infrastructure, and it drives users to apps. Can enable future marketing. So, cool. Might be financially worthwhile. Something we'd have to budget. Alright. Yeah, that's fair. You're more touchy about stuff that you used to be able to do without signing up or giving. Oh, it's totally reasonable instinct. Oh, I none percent fault you for that instinct. And it does suck that it's changing, or has changed in ways that we can't do. It's just the Metropolitan Museum of Art is not going to be the one to say enough is enough. Let's just be real on that. Out of all the museums in the world, the Met is one of the least likely to say enough is enough, we're going back to the old way of doing things. Because the current way sucks and we hate it. Know your institution. That's your other bit of free advice. Know thy institution. And know what drives your institutional stakeholders. Most big museums are incredibly quantitative. And if you can say that we can predict, we can get you access to 10,000 email addresses that we are otherwise significantly less likely to get, man, are they going to jump at that? Because they send 5 quadrillion emails a day. But still, so much for the what, right? We've got a good what, frankly, right? In a 6-month project, we've got 3 months of just kind of general banter, community building, getting people used to the idea, showcasing a bunch of different stuff, and encouraging users to submit ones that they think are particularly cool. And then you have 3 months of a more structured outreach thing around the competition. And you've got tours that support the competition. You've got a scavenger hunt that supports the competition. You encourage user votes in a variety of formats. You're getting something more structured here that is really sort of driving that. And we have a deliverable at the end that we can market. You partner with a toy production company to say, hey, we are going to do a reproduction, or if it's a painting, a print, a reproduction, a plushie, some combination thereof, of merchandise around our contestants and around our winner. I'd probably say we're going to do like a commemorative run of like magnets and keychains and stuff around the competition at large, and the winner of the competition gets something bonus, a replica. That would be my instinct, but there's lots of ways you want to talk with your sales and merchandise divisions to really figure out what partnerships exist to really enable that. How are we going to tell if this works? Like, what's our goals? And how are we going to tell? Right, is this... What's good? 10,000 uses of a hashtag across social media? 100,000? Are we looking for, like, millions of votes? Votes cast across the tournament? Is that reasonable? We don't know, right? I'll be honest, I have no idea. what point we have to lock in the winner merch? You would start. I'd say you start conceptualizing that the moment you know what the list is, right? You basically look at the final list of competitors and you go like, okay, for this one we're gonna do this, for this one we're gonna do this, for this one we're gonna do this, for this one we're gonna... Just come up with like an initial thing of like what category of thing are you doing. In terms of what the turnaround time is, you may not be able to do that until after it ends. Right? Like once you know who the winner is, you'll be like, okay, by, say, let's say this runs, I don't know, January through June. You probably want to launch the merch in September or October and really push it for Black Friday. And in general, I think, right, regardless, you want to have this thing out ready in time. You want to try and walk that line, actually, where people are still remembering and talking about the tournament when the Christmas holiday comes out. And you have the merch fully released, out in the world, good to go for that. You can do a lot of generic stuff, you know, postcards, magnets, keychains, stuff like that. Prints featuring collection items throughout. You can just come up with an artifact list, you produce that from the beginning, off we go. But for the winner one, that will affect a lot of stuff. So I'm guessing probably you're looking at like, I don't know, like a March to September? March to the end of, start of March to end of August for the thing. And then November 1st is kind of the deadline for when you have to release it. Yeah, so if you know what you're doing for all the contestants by summer, then whoever wins, you're kind of already partnered with whoever the best partner is, or you know who you need to reach out for that. And then as soon as you know, you go off, you do it. And then you monetize the shit out of it. Let's be honest, that's going to be an expensive reproduction. Let's be real. That's going to be expensive. That's probably going to be like a 200, depending on what it is, prices may change, but like for a full like museum quality replica, $250 to $500, depending on the object. It's expensive. It's a lot of cash, it's a lot of revenue, but it's expensive. And that's okay. That's intended. Right? It's unclear, right? Anyway, for the quantitative stuff, back on topic over here. It might be, I don't know, some... Right, what things are we going to look at, right? Total impressions. Come on. Let's just get, like, what categories of things we think are good. Total impressions. Total engagement. Votes cast. Visitor numbers. Scavenger hunts used. Revenue generated. Right? You can check, you know, if we know we ordered like a full ream of copies of the scavenger hunt, and we burn through that in 3 weeks. That's a real good sign. We can also look at, you know, visitor numbers. If visitor numbers are ticking up, you might know that. In terms of qualitative stuff, though, you might look at, comment sections. Capital D colon. We know... We're internet veterans. We know that's risky. Yeah. Viewer. Oh yeah, app downloads. If we go the app route, right, app downloads. Viewer observation. Formal and informal polling of visitors during visits. What else? What other sorts of evaluative metrics might we be looking at here? Given what we talked about like what we're actually doing. What do you guys think? right? For things that are very numbers-based, we love numbers-based. And things that are less numbers-based, more seeing, right? You know, maybe we're not getting all the numbers we like, but the people who are engaging are really engaged. And there are people who otherwise wouldn't. So then that, right, that would indicate that this is still a success, that we're reaching an audience that maybe otherwise wouldn't show up to the museum. And that is not previously engaging with other sorts of content that we're doing. That would be awesome. Even if the numbers aren't huge, right, that'd still be awesome. Right, we have website analytics that we can use, I guess, yeah. Website analytics for votes. Right, or website impressions for Cats v Dogs page. Right, presumably we're going to create a web page about the event with links to the polling and the candidates and stuff, right? Presumably you're going to do that. We should probably specify that, huh? Oh good, I already did. Website page. Hooray. I love when longevity of discourse. I do like that. Long-term monitoring of visitor sentiment. Let's say through another 6 months. So basically, right, by the end of, we stop really tracking this after 1 year from the thing starts. So that we know, right, does this have longevity? Maybe it doesn't need it, but if it has it, that's useful for us to know. Months after end of event. Obviously, merch sales. Merch sales. That gives us a lot of different tools here. Obviously, right, this is all fake. I said at the beginning, I'll say it again, I don't work for the Met. I will probably never work for the Met. I don't know enough details about their operation to know what metrics are reasonable, what things other projects have been expecting to get, any of that documentation that we need to go farther on this. This is just to sort of give us a sense of what things might we want to look for and try and develop benchmarks around so that they know, right, when we take this to executives, we know. Anyway, we've got another guy. We've got another friend-shaped friend. Hit me with it. Hit me with it. Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a winner right there. Southeast Asian from the 12th century. And just magnificent. Hello, Space Panini. Hello, welcome. And to all the viewers, all 5 of you, hello. If you haven't seen me before, I'm Adam. We are talking about museums and social media, and we are designing a cats versus dogs social media campaign for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. We're not actually for the Met. This is purely for fun to talk through the process. But we just found a perfect candidate. So, for the full introduction, hi. Here at Little History, we do historical content of all flavors, whether that's games, other media, history lectures, and talking about museums and archives. I have a background in all of the above. And so if that sounds good, of course, hit the follow button. But it's lovely to have you all around. Please do hang out, ask questions, throw out ideas. This is very informal, very much let's talk through ideas together, and very much not, I know the answer and I am going to tell you it. Because that's dumb. So, happy to have y'all here. Let's go back to looking at the round boy instead of me. Because look at that round boy. Look at him. Look at him. You came in from watching Plastic Ducks in Plastic Duck Simulator. Truly one of the best games of all time. But yeah, to give the whole vibe of what we're doing. Literally, we are running a fake social media drama campaign where we are trying to vote on what is the best cat or dog in the Metropolitan Museum of Art's collection. So we're running a tournament bracket, we are running a scavenger hunt, we are running a bunch of programming, and we are trying to answer this question definitively. And, you know, encourage people to show up to the Met and engage with the Met's content and learn about some fun history. So we've got, you know, a cute guy, a cute puppo, and a badass cat, and the roundest cat I have ever seen in my life. Also, yes, thank you, anonymous gifter, for gifting a sub to Space Panini. Enjoy the medieval marginalia. Is it on view? It's not on view. It needs to be on. I need this on view in my life. I need to see it. Oh, he's 3.5 inches tall. Oh, he's so small. Oh, he's so small. Oh, I love him. Oh, he's got a tail. Oh my god. This is huge. This is Cat. This is the greatest news I've ever seen in my life. Thank you for discovering this friend. This is my winner. I'm sorry. This is a great contender. This is a fabulous cat. But I'm picking this one every day of the week. He got feetses. He's got a little tail. He's got little feeties. He's perfect. And yeah. Now, hang on. I've got a hot take. This is dumb, but what if we did it anyway? Yes, you have the actual really nice replica that is the exact same size and the thing and all of that. But corporate collaboration with Squishmallow. Think about it. Yes, good. And Corvigay, thank you so much for the follow. You were just thinking that. I'm telling... Squishmallow series. And I don't mean a little Squishmallow. I don't mean like this size Squishmallow. No. I need this guy. I need the Squishmallow bigger than my face. Yeah. Will the Met care is the question? No. Obviously, ethics aside, find a competitor to Squishmallow that is, more ethical would make us happier. But the premise, right? The premise of the ginormous, super squishy plushie of this guy. Also, public domain image. So, look, we're working for an institution. It is unfortunate. Just pretend ethics don't exist. Yeah. The advantages of not doing this for real. I don't actually have to, since it's never actually happening, don't have to think about it, but it is an important thing that we should acknowledge. You're printing him out to start putting together a pattern. Guess what? He's public domain. You can do whatever you like. Beautiful. Speaking of, don't mind me. Don't mind. It's definitely not. Okay. They can't stop me. Keep an eye out for an emote. We have more animated emote slots. On the channel. I'm just saying. Optimal? Having balance. True. I was thinking. See, my ideal emote. We've got three angles of him, right? Render him. Render them in Blender. He spin. He spin. Let me sleep and I'll animate the boy. Please don't feel obligated to, but I have no animation skills, so if someone is able to do that and wants to send it to me, I will love you forever. So, you can tell. I think just the reaction here has proven that this is the best idea we've ever come up with, and it's not close. But right, imagine the social media campaigns of, I guess, I don't know, it's probably the Asian art department technically has control of them. It's either ceramics or the Asian art department, or both. Instagram posts just looking at him. Just looking at him. And every other department going like, that is a cat right there. That is the most cat. Or the doggo. This is a blessed doggo. Look at his feet. 18th Dynasty Egyptian feet. Ah. They've locked the image size. Terrible news. Oh wait, it's zoomed in. It's got to zoom in. Yes! I love them all. Oh, also, it has a mouse that's a companion. So we've got a doggo and a mouse. You can make so many plushies out of this campaign. It's beautiful. So anyway, what were we talking about? Mies? Yeah. Hang on, we've also... Oh, I lost it. Oh no, I lost the dog. Oh right, we just have to do that. Another excellent dog. That being said, there's so many other good dogs. So here's the scary thing, right? For all these dogs are being great, please observe. This boy Eepy. Pet. Eepy. Pet. Right. Tremendous, magnificent, spectacular. Exactly. His name's Harry. Oh, his name's Harry. It's so good. And boy is he here. Uh-huh. Broad plaque of Mithras. Oh my god. Look at him. Look at him. He's got little mouth flaps. That boy rules. Oh, there's so much rule. Oh, this dog gives you hugs and gets you will be. It's a free shower. Every hug this dog gives you is a free shower. Does this dog give you all of the hugs? Yes. Its mouth opens! This makes sense, actually. Wait, this actually makes sense. This is a gunpowder bag. So it holds hunting shot. So we got a little. But his mouth opens to pour out the shot. That's so cool. Hell yeah. So, anyway, back on topic, because we have to actually design a thing instead of getting distracted by just how good these dogs are. They're all so good, though. Good pets. It looks like Darth Vader. It does a little bit look like Darth Vader. That's very funny. That's very funny. Collection images. Can you send the link for the good boy? Absolutely. There you go. Lime pot in the shape of cat. Beautiful. Fabulous. Development, website. Development, signage, design, and development. Branding. Scavenger hunts, physical materials, in-house banners, / placards, / screens. Time, right. The big resource, as far as I can tell, right, as far as I can conceive of, the actual big resource of this entire, like, 6-month social media doodad is time and people resources. Staff, moderators, / account managers. Staff. It requires a lot of departmental buy-in to help get things together, keep up to date with it, actually pay attention to the social media accounts, engage with stuff, create whatever ancillary content they want to. There's a lot of departmental creative control that you can allow with this, just allow a lot of play, and different departments to do different things. So, like, I don't know, the European Art Conservation Department on Instagram can make whatever content around, like, conserving some of these objects, one of these pets they want to do. They want to do that? That's awesome. That's super cool. If the Asian Art department just wants to post collection images. That's awesome. Let them do that. If people want to stir up fake drama between each other departments, rock and roll. But the big thing is it requires a lot of social media account managers and departmental staff buy-in to be participating through this throughout the project. The actual finance of it, merch development and marketing. Right, apart from the human hours it takes to do that, create this, put up the things, design the scavenger hunt, design the hints, manage the social media accounts. That's money, and that's money. That's it. This is a little bit of, this is a little bit, I guess this is the three things. Right. This is time, this is time, this is time, this is time, this is time. So, time is far and away the most intensive resource. The finances? Finances, this is a pretty low-cost exhibit, or outreach project. Which is awesome, but the only reason it's low-cost is that all the work was already done. Right? The conservators and photographers already took all the photos you need. If they didn't have 99-point-something% of the Met's collections digitized, we would be in trouble. But since they do, that makes any of this work. So, actual advice for making a project, know your own resources, and make sure you're proposing things that actually reinforce the things that are already being invested in. If they have not invested in digitization, doing a digital image heavy outreach project doesn't make sense. We chose the Met because we knew they have 9 bajillion objects, and they're all digitized, and for the most part are public domain. And that's super fun to allow playful reuse. Obviously, we don't get the option to choose your own thing in an actual institutional context. You work for who you work for. Well, that's fine. So yeah, I've boldfaced the things that cost money. I've highlighted the things that cost a lot of time. Or italicized the things that take a lot of time. I guess we'll call it content moderation and posting. Right? Time, money, or money. Now, time is money, so that still has to be budgeted for, but, you know, for the most part, the big chunks of it is already done for us, and that's awesome. And that's it, right? We have a budget. Obviously, we'd use these and these to sort of develop benchmarks and full budgets that we'd include with them. We then also think in more detail about like what's happening in each month, so that we have a really clear image of what's going on. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as this conceptualization phase goes, I think we're done. Chat, how are we feeling about this project? Let's run through it again. Right. Basically, we are taking social media accounts and tools, supplementing them with in-person programming to run a contest between the cats and the dogs of the Met's collections. For a 6-month period, we're going to run a contest to determine the cutest option between Met cats and Met dogs, and develop a release merchandise related to the winning side. The reason why we're doing this is that the Met has a bunch of resources, especially on Instagram with social media accounts, that cover a bunch of departments. We are trying to encourage those to interact with each other. We know this works. We know that animal content performs well on social media. We know that drama material and competitions drive engagement. And we know that those engagements are in turn going to get more people to sign up for our newsletters and marketing materials, even if it's kind of accidentally and due to kind of shady design. And it's going to provide an algorithmic boost to other Met content, because you're engaging with Met content. We also know we've got a lot of collection materials that are relevant and real cute, that cover the Met's collections really nicely, And we know that it's a very family-friendly thing that we can encourage families to really participate in, have a great time with. We've got a bunch of goals, though. We want people to show up to the physical museum, so we need to design things that do that. We want to highlight, sort of more accessible, less standard, less art history, academic ways of experiencing art. We want to get users to reach outside of the things they're already familiar with and find real cute guys in other departments. We want to boost our own social media presence, and we want to encourage positive user discourse on all those platforms about the Met. And so, we're taking a look at some of our resources, and we're coming up with a two-phase project. So we'll have a bunch of these accounts posting together, looking at each other, maybe not every day, but every other day, highlighting collection material, and arguing with each other using #MetCats and #MetDogs. We have other options for this, right? We could, as we progress through the project, develop some personalities that have their own accounts. It can be a bit flexible. The main account, meanwhile, will kind of act as a moderator, remind people to be using that, highlighting people that are using it, especially if they're coming in, they're looking at stuff. Have that main account be liking stuff to leverage the fact that there's 4.3 million followers. We also have website pages and other stuff to sort of supplement that in a very more traditional way off of social media. We give a lot of freedom to them, though, so that they can post a wide array of stuff that fits their umbrella and just really let them play with it. But at the center of it all is a contest. And so over the first 3 months, right, we're just doing this sort of very loose form, bunch of stuff related to pets, and encouraging people to submit, using the hashtags, submit guys that they think are exceptional, either in the collections or in person, and talk about their experiences. And curators, or representatives of each department, will submit their favorites for the playoffs. And then we have a 3-month-long tournament arc where people are voting like crazy on Instagram, on Twitter, through the website, and in person. In a head-to-head bracket, head-to-head of all the cats, head-to-head of all the dogs, best cat and best dog are going to go against each other, and the winner gets a replica, or a plushie, or both. To supplement this, we're going to have a scavenger hunt, we're going to have physical tours, we're going to have QR code, coloring sheets, whole bunch of stuff, just getting people to, physically wander through the building and spot their favorite guys. As an optional thing we can do, we've got some ARG tools that already exist in the Mets ecosystem, so we want to explore the opportunity to develop those, and apply those to this project to have pet petting. Using the ARG tools and precise geolocation data. This has an added benefit of drawing people into the physical museum and into our app ecosystem where they give us their email address and we can market to them. And also is definitely not inspired by Japanese gacha games with face petting mechanics. What are you talking about? That'd be weird. There is a time when Japan fell in love with Medjet. It is very funny. Honestly, right, the National Museum in Tokyo would also rule doing this. We've got a bunch of ways that we can evaluate the project and determine whether, we feel like it was successful or not. And our costs are overall pretty low, being mostly investments of time rather than money. So, Chad, did we miss anything? I feel good about it. I think that's a really... Obviously, this is not the slide deck I would present to an executive. There would be a crap ton of polish. I probably would switch over to Publisher or LaTeX or something. But, that feels like a very plausible project to me. Alright, Alex. Glad to have you around. Glad you thought it was fun. This is very experimental, so I'm glad it was, like, worth it. As a gacha player, yeah, look, the tournament, my original pitch for the tournament, we've toned it down to more sportive stuff, but my original pitch for it was a Choose Your Legends bracket. Space Panini. I am fully in the brain rot. I was fully. We've toned it down to just a head-to-head because it's easier to do, but like my brainwave last week for it was fully a brain rot. Oh yeah, that's a guy. Oh yeah. Saka Bombastus. You can't stop looking at Round, friend. He's so round. Look, can you imagine the potential of engagement? Of forcing people to choose? Right? Think about the engagement. People are going to have such strong feelings about how good they are. Space Panini, you're a hero. It just, exactly, it already happens apropos of nothing. That everyone just gets obsessed with a museum guy. The Forbidden Gummy Bear. Do people know the Forbidden... Do people know the Forbidden Gummy Bear? I hope people know the Forbidden Gummy Bear. The Forbidden Gummy Bear. Welcome. A Neolithic amber bear amulet from Słupsk, Poland. From Poland. Oh my god! Look at him! You wanna lick it? He's such a gummy bear. Right? The happy world of Neolithic Amber Haribo. Its flavor is honey, convince me otherwise. No, I refuse to because you are correct. That is 100% a honey flavored gummy bear. Alright, Space Panini, lovely to have you here. Thank you for the raid. Have a good night. Flavor is pine? Nah, maple? Ooh, chat. Is he honey flavored or is he maple flavored? You think it looks pineapple flavored? Now that's an out of pocket pick, but I'm not here for it. I'm in Team Maple. Amazing. I'm in Team Maple on this one. Yeah. Yeah, both maple, like both syrup and amber are tree sap. I'm on board with that. Yeah. Also, he's just that dark color feels more maple syrupy than it does like honey. Some honey, like it's either a really it's honestly a golden syrup, right? Right, it's really not a maple syrup. It's more of just sugar. But either way, this is a gummy bear, and you cannot persuade me otherwise. Right. And by the way, people were asking, right, what about pigs? What about other things? What about mice? What about maple flavored amber gummy bears? Um, the only reason we are limiting it to cats versus dogs is that things would get extremely out of hand extremely quickly. They all deserve love. They 100% deserve love, but we're going to start with the popular pets, right? You gotta draw the limits on the project somewhere, and restricting it to the popular pets is going to make it easier to keep track of votes. It's going to make it easier to create camps, and if it works really well, then you can get out of pocket, right? Then you go weird. Horses versus hippos. Birds versus bugs. Exactly. Right? The content writes itself. We do luckily just know, though, that, right, we know cats and dogs are extremely safe, extremely simple to work with, and just, right, have been perennially popular around the world for 4,000 years. Frogs, absolutely. Frogs have good pieces. Again, oh, another one that I need to add to the list, right, in terms of emotes, speaking of animal content that need to become emotes on the channel. Presented, well, hang on. Presented with comment. I said we have more animated emo slots. This one I can animate, because we just take this and we zoom in. Right, that's the animation right there. You find this style of frog, because this is actually a genre. This isn't just like one example. There's actually quite a few of these, and they usually zoom in on his face. I do need another dance one. I do need another one who's like bouncing, being like dancing. You're right. I don't know if it's this guy because he looks too sad. He looks too sad to be bouncing. The Space Beneath. I can also animate. Cat, wait. Wait, this is. You've expanded my mind. Also, Space Beneath, you need to go get sleep. Go get sleep. We can talk emotes. We can talk emotes tomorrow. But the frog pop, using historical Edo Pura ukiyo-e prints of depressed frogs, is a level of absolute 4D chess that I was unprepared for. True. And as Raptora says, by the way, yeah, if you have strong opinions and don't want to leave it to my taste, for just $10 a month over on Patreon, you can choose your favorite historical art, and we can turn it into an emo together. Otherwise, we'll fill it out with my taste, which will still be good. But this guarantees that it's our taste and not just my taste. But yeah, no, I love Frog Pop as just like as a concept. It's beautiful. It's unexpected. It's weird, but it's beautiful. Well, animals are so good, guys. Just animals are so good. Historical examples of animals are so good. This is why we do historical art as emotes on this channel. Because the meme potentials are through the roof. Right? It brings attention to things that have been buried sometimes for thousands of years, just kind of existing, not invisible by any means, but just existing kind of on the fringes of popular consciousness. It highlights them and highlights how lovely and memey they are. But also, they're just so good. Yeah. We love. Amazing. Alright, though. Right. Obviously, there's a lot of unknown unknowns with to bring it back around to the thing we were theoretically doing. There's a lot of unknown unknowns with a social media campaign like that. Like, I make no pretenses to say that we thought of everything. That'll be a thing that you get feedback on from other team members. You don't design this in the void. And you get feedback and iterate on it with the executive director, trustees, other stakeholders, whoever's in charge of it, all that jazz. So that's all important and good to keep in mind. But as far as it goes, I feel like we create something very fun. Oh yeah, security, preventing people from just using bot accounts to just spam votes. Yeah, no, that's a good concern. Yeah, no, that's real good. You don't have to worry about that with in-person stuff. You don't have to worry about that with website stuff, per se. But Twitter? Twitter's like 70% bots these days. And Facebook's worse. I don't have an answer to that. You'd want to talk with some cybersec folks to think about what level of verification you can actually do realistically to help control that. Obviously, it's not like it's catastrophic if bots take over it. It sucks. You probably want some sort of stopgap for vote brigading, right? If you see a really weird spike of votes, maybe you try and discount those. But again, it's hard to track that on Discord. Or, sorry, not Discord, on Twitter. I don't know about Facebook, but, like, Twitter doesn't give you that level of analytics data. Yeah. Yeah, that's... CyberSec and OPSEC would be tough. Exactly, Twitter's getting worse. Everyone's getting worse. Facebook's... Oh, pardon me. I got hiccups all of a sudden. Yeah, so Space Nerd, it's not a bad plan, except that everyone these days is suppressed. Everyone wants to keep users on platform. So if you link things through Twitter or Instagram, they're actually going to suppress that algorithmically. They're gonna... No, again, we already talked about this. We don't use Tumblr. Museums don't use Tumblr. Museums get chewed alive and spat back out of Tumblr. But yeah, you can't... If you're linking to another site, to the Met's website, you're going to get about a third, like, somewhere between, like, 15 and 25% of the views that you will otherwise get. Tumblr loves these kind of things, but Tumblr hates when brands do these kinds of things. And museums, in lots of ways, don't really fit nicely into Tumblr's ecosystem. Right. Images are doable on Tumblr, but really it's meant for text. It's meant for blogging, like personal blogging. So reach is weird. Discoverability is weird. Algorithmic stuff is weird. You're really relying on reblogs. Which is fine. Images is harder to do. Fashion history is welcome, sure. Yeah. Tumblr doors when Tumblr sexy men fight each other 1v1 with the hate corpse. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's something that maybe could exist more. I guess there's a way to find out. I'm curious whether they even have one now. No. They fully don't. Oh, no, they do have one. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Oh no, okay, it's just someone stole the name. I think? I actually don't know. There's no details here. Yeah, I think that someone stole the name of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Okay, the Arms and Armor. Here it is. Met Arms and Armor actually has one. Oh, no. Public domain works, not associated with the Met. So yeah. Right, Met Museum bot, post random stuff. Not actually affiliated. Tags. There's a ton of stuff that's tagged with it. But yeah. Right. There is no current presence. Not associated with the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Yeah. Yeah. So, we're actually noticing a different problem than I expected here, but an interesting problem. And that is, all the departmental, or a good number of the departmental accounts that would want to be created to kind of play with this, have already been taken by unofficial accounts. Because kind of didn't get in at the right moment, and so a lot of their, like, actual accounts, or the things that you would name the actual official accounts, have already been gobbled up. Yeah, cyber squatting. Yeah, that's an odd problem. Yeah, you could have a Tumblr presence. I think it would just be like it would function fundamentally differently. It would function like fundamentally super differently than how the same project works on every other ecosystem. Which again doesn't mean it's not doable, it just means it works differently. And you have to account for that. Yeah. I don't know the answer to it. I don't know if that's something that becomes worthwhile, if that solves problems that other things do. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably do it as you kind of collapse everything into a MetCats and a MetDogs account, and the MetCats and MetDogs account argue with each other all the time. But I do have a suspicion that the reaction to that, as soon as it's like, oh yeah, this is official, is I suspect that I do just worry that that's the reaction that Tumblr would have to people coming in, creating accounts for the purpose of this outreach programming, and then having and then trying to banter with each other and stir up, oh yeah, the cats and the dogs of the Met are getting into a fight. Pretty sure Tumblr's response is, Tumblr people do love the Monterey Bay Aquarium, so there is precedent for it working. The problem is, I think you have to plan 2 years out. I think the answer is you have to plan 2 years out. Oh, that you absolutely can do it. But you have to create the presence there first. You have to build the audience, and you have to persuade the audience that you are not corpo how do you do, fellow kids. Right? You have to persuade people to do that first, and that's probably a 2-year project. before you can use that platform to start doing the sorts of outreach we talked about. You can do it, but you can't just kind of roll into the scene and do it. And I don't know what I honestly, right, I don't use Tumblr, so I honestly don't know what you gain from it. It may be worthwhile, but I kind of don't know what you gain from it. You also, exactly, you do need people who know the ecosystem involved. You spend several hours learning about red figurefish plates on Tumblr. Well, fair play. Right, Tumblr is probably, because it's so relatively non-algorithmic, Tumblr does offer a lot of opportunity to, like, really deeply target a group of people who are self-selecting to be interested in what the museum's doing. And that's potentially, right, that offers some opportunities, because it's all subcultures all the way down. And it's not as, the subcultures aren't as walled off as Reddit. But at the same time, they are very much self-selecting in a way that Twitter, Instagram, TikTok aren't. But yeah, with the Met specifically, Met's corpo. Met's bougie as shit. Oh, that's a guy. Yeah, I've seen this guy too. This guy's a good guy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. Boo. Oh yeah, that he's good. They argue about. Look, Tumblr. Look at him. No drama, just octopus. There's zooms below the image. Oh yeah. No. Another emote that would be great to just, like, start big and just, like, zoom in horrifyingly. Don't suppose the alt text tells it. It just says ancient fish plate. Boo. It doesn't give me the guide. But, like, right, that's another one. You start, like, a cut this big, and then you just, or even bigger, honestly. You could almost start, like, boom, 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 and then just zoom in. Chat, Twitch giving us more animated emote slots is it's a great idea that won't backfire. But yeah, Tumblr is really enthusiastic about it, but I've never, except for the Monterey Bay Aquarium, I don't know any institutions that use Tumblr. I don't know if that's just, like, an oversight, a weird disconnect, or, like, what the heck's going on. But I know of, like, no institutions that use that platform. And also it's small, right? Unfortunately, Tumblr, at the end of the day, is just too small. It's really enthusiastic, but it's, like... It is a really small subculture-focused thing. And so, the investment reaches fewer people, and if you're being very numbers-driven... If you're being really numbers-driven, it's hard to persuade anyone that that's worthwhile. But also, I think it is just, like, people try to do Tumblr the way they do other places, and are like, either, why do I do Tumblr? I have a website with a blog. Or, Tumblr is a social media, therefore it plays like Twitter, right? No. No, completely opposite strategies are necessary. So I don't know. I do know that if you don't already have a presence, you can't create a presence and just kind of send it. Like, the ecosystem doesn't work that way. But I'd be curious to think further about whether that's an oversight or if there's actually some issue with that. Exactly, right? Like that's the upside of Tumblr. Like Reddit, that's sort of the theoretical upside, is that it self-selects people who are more interested than the average person. And so when you reach people, it becomes really easy to reach your target audience and to get feedback from your target audience without extraneous, like, fluff getting in the way. Bots, people who were already not going to show up but leave a comment just to rage bait, etc., etc. If you're doing content for social media, how much time and effort would it take? The problem is Tumblr is relatively effort intensive. Right, since it is microblogging rather than posts, Tumblr is actually fairly effort intensive relative to other social media accounts. Yeah, it's weird. I got nothing. Liz, I suspect at this point that the reason why a lot of institutions don't do Tumblr is because they don't do Tumblr. Right. Like, at this point, the reason why you don't do Tumblr is because you haven't done Tumblr, and the inertia is just... Oh, I believe there was a study. Oh, I 100% believe you that there was a study. But if I remember right, that study was quite a few years old at this point. And it also has a very limited reach. And so, right, the initial prevention can be data-driven. But in truth, that data is not so much a deciding factor, so much as no one on staff is a Tumblr user. And the inertia of trying to learn Tumblr is just greater, just high enough that everyone would rather be doing something else. That there's too many other things to do, no one happens to already be an active user and is willing to take on that project, and so it doesn't happen. Oof, you don't already have the account, you don't have the momentum, and therefore it just doesn't happen. I don't know, it might be more recent than I remember. I do remember hearing about this vaguely, I thought it was some time ago. Whatever. It's not so important. Social media is a weird place. If we've learned anything today, chat, it's that social media is a bloody weird place. If we've learned two things today, it's that animals are good, and social media is a bloody weird place. I don't know which one's number one and which one's number two, but those are definitely two things we've learned. This is a silly place, let's not go. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The animals are obviously number one. Yeah, you know that's valid. Now, if we've learned three things today, it's that designing programs, even programs that occur entirely on social media, is a very involved process with a lot of moving parts. And frankly, it's a miracle institutions get anything done at all. Three lessons. Honestly, I think that's a good day. I think that's what we call an incredibly successful stream. 3 lessons in 3.5 hours. Alright. I think that does it. That's all the oomph I've got for today. That's all the thoughts I have. We did good. We had fun. I hope you learned a couple things. I certainly did. But yeah, Dead's up, amazing. We found a round friend. We found the best cat. Anyway, yeah. There may be stuff during the week. Will depend on how much finishing other projects is. Um, but there will definitely be things on Wednesday. So if no one else, I will see you all again on Wednesday for our 2023 wrap up and our History Game of the Year tier list. That's right, we are tiering. We're taking a look at the historical games we played, and we are taking a look at as many historical releases as we can, and we're going to make a tier list. We did it last year, it ruled. Pentiment is a good game. We're going to do it again. But here's the thing. I'm not qualified to talk about it all on my own. So we're going to have friends. Throughout the stream, we're going to have folks dropping in and out from a variety of other streamers, working in the same space, talking about what they have played, what they are doing, what they are planning, and what they think was good that came out this year. So if you want to come hang out, meet the Salsa folks, Steve, Roomeister Chris, some other folks, make sure you tune in on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be a great time. This was the funnest kind of group project you've ever been a part of. Amazing. That is a high goddamn praise. And yeah, thank you all for the contributions. This is, it is very fun to talk through these ideas. Very fun to think about what things we would need to do to make it happen. To kind of conceptualize what might that look like. What potentials exist. What pitfalls exist. And what is the roundest cat in the world? That was a pretty round cat. Anyway, that is it for me. So, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time I see you, I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend and a good start to your holidays. Okay? Bye-bye. Of course, extra thanks to all of our patrons listed on the side there, and to our new followers, Corvigay, and our new subscriber, Space Panini. Thank you all, Space Panini, thank you for the raid and for everything else. And again, I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their night. Ciao.